Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So, I have not done a whole lot of book on hauls here on the channel. I think I've done like one or two, and so in general I'm just very bad at like putting away books I don't want anymore because some of them still look pretty and I like having them because they look pretty on my shelves. Some of them I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna read this, but what if? And so in general, I'm just like very bad at putting away books, you know, like, or getting rid of books, I should say. But I have reorganized recently and I have run out of space, so I've felt forced to actually take some books off of the shelves. And so we have a book haul today. No, book unhaul today. I haven't counted. 24. It's 24 books. Some of them I have read. Some of them I've not read, but I just don't think that I'm going to in the near future, so I would rather just make room for another book that I feel more eager to read, if that makes sense. And so we're gonna go through them together today. I will say I'm gonna put these on Vinted, and I'm in Denmark, so that means it covers like Sweden, Finland, I think Poland. I'm not really entirely sure what countries are included in my group on Vinted, but that's where they're going. So if you're interested and you're from one of those areas, I'll leave a link for you down below in the description box. But with that out of the way, let's get started talking about them. I'm going to talk about this one first because I've read this one, Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston. I'm sorry, I'm not good at names. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which was the last book of 2022, I think, and I had an ARC of this, so this is unread, by the way. She's quite pretty, I will say, and that's why I've been holding on to her, because I did not enjoy the book at all. It's YA fantasy with like vampires, sort of, and a vampire hunter, and the competition, and secrets and stuff, but it wasn't for me. And so it was very long drawn as well. It's like a 500-page book, but it doesn't feel like it should have been 500 pages. The edition is stunning though, which is why I've kept it for so long. She's kind of been hiding among my Ekotar because roses, it's perfect. But I don't know. The other day I was just like, I kind of lost the, yeah, I could keep it for the looks, but I kind of lost that. You know what I mean? So got some black foil on the naked cover as well. It does come with custom end papers too that look like this in the front. And then in the back, oh, I should record a video showing off my favorite special editions too. I should. I'm gonna do that. In the back, they look like this. But she's gonna go. I do love the look of this book though, I will say. I feel like maybe the cover itself is a little bit boring, but the edges, stunning. And so it's gonna hurt a little bit to see her go, but content-wise, just not for me personally. Another Fairy Loot edition, Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. I do have another edition of this, which is the one that I've read. It's the Owl Crate one, and that one has an exclusive cover and everything, so this is the one that's gonna go despite the sprayed edges. Ombre sprayed even. Also has like cutest artwork on the naked cover. End pages as well that are custom, different in the back. And I actually really enjoyed this book. It's YA fantasy romance, and then it has like a lot of nods to different... I sound sick today. I just realized. Ignore that. It has a lot of nods to different fairy tales, and I think that's part of the reason why I've enjoyed it. But I've learned recently that there's not going to be a sequel to this book, and this is the first one in a series. And in my head, I cannot turn this into a standalone, and so I'm just gonna at least get rid of this one because the other one is a smaller hardback, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to fit it on my shelves. I don't want to let it go completely because I did enjoy the book, so I'm not ready to completely see it go. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold on to the other one, but this one might as well just, you know, say bye to. So then we have a book that was like very well loved when it came out. Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, and I started reading it a while ago, and then it never actually caught on. Like I don't know, I didn't like it. I think the characters were just kind of frustrating me. It's a contemporary romance, I kind of want to call it, but don't think like rom-com, okay? Just don't think in that direction. It's a love story. Yeah, that fits. A love story. I just was not really vibing with the I wasn't vibing with the characters, and I wasn't vibing with the writing style either, and I don't know. Got a little bit tired of it. It's a thin book, so I was like, maybe I can push through, but I just never really got to motivate myself to continue. I know it's super well loved though, and so hopefully this is gonna go to a loving home where someone will enjoy it. It's just not me. I've been holding on to this for a while, thinking that, well, maybe you were just not in the right mood or something, but I don't think I'm ever going to be in the right mood. So we're just gonna, yes. I have an Alcrate exclusive, which is the Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This has blue sprayed edges. Exclusive cover, also has end pages that are quite pretty. And inside dust jacket art too, plus some foil on the naked cover. Is that loyalty through and through? Yeah, it's the bears. It's the Wednesdays. I actually really enjoyed the Luminaries. The thing is, this is the Alcrate edition, and I've kind of continued this series, but I have the Illumicrate editions instead. And so this is just taking up space. It's a duplicate of a book that I don't necessarily feel like I need to have in my collection, and so she's gonna go. But I did enjoy this quite a lot. YA fantasy, kind of doesn't really have like a romance in the first one, but it does build up to something in the sequel, and has like slight horror vibes now and then as well. It just has like a little bit of a vibe, a hint of it, you know? So I enjoyed this a lot though, just want to say. It also looks like this in the back. This one I actually really enjoyed. I gave it 4.5 stars, but Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Ayemede. I'm not sure how to pronounce names, but this was so good when I read it. The thing is, it's a sort of mystery thriller, contemporary mystery thriller, dark academia as well, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that once you know a twist in a thriller, it's kind of pointless reading it again. So while I've been holding on to this for I don't know how many years by now, thinking that, well, you can reread it at some point, I just don't think I'm going to. And so it's literally just taking up space on my shelves. But this is lovely. This is such a good book. I'm kind of like, should I let it go? Should you stay with me? I'm a little bit unsure. Maybe this won't show up on Vinted. I'm not really sure. But it's a really good book. For those of you who don't know Ace of Spades, I would highly recommend. Just avoid spoilers before going into it, okay? And then we have another Fairy Loot edition. This is one that I got replaced though. This has like a slight flaw on the front cover, so I got a replacement. This is still going up on Vinted just for a lot less than I would actually like sell a special edition for. But lovely book, What the River Knows by Isabelle Ibanez. First one in a new series, takes place in Egypt and has a romance plot line in there as well. Historical fiction as well, just want to say. But it's lovely. The first 40% you kind of like have to fight your way through just a little bit, but only because it's a trilogy, so there's gonna be some build up. Once the action gets going, I could not stop reading. I love this so much. So I have this still. I have another edition as well from Alcrate, and I'm not letting go of either of them. It's only because this has a slight flaw on it that I just have an extra and I need to like put it somewhere. So she's gotta leave the house or the apartment. Lovely edition though. If you want to see, we have these stenciled edges. The original cover is a different colorway. I just can't remember what it looks like. And let me just show you inside dust jacket art by Rosie Thorns 88. I love Rosie Thorns. I think she has such a unique style. I love her her papercraft, but also, which this is papercraft, but I also love just her drawings. We also have foil on the naked cover and end pages that are foiled too. I think they're about the same in the back. Yes, they are. Just reversed. There's a girl here, by the way. It's her hair. Lovely book. If you didn't know about this one either, if you have watched the channel within the last year, you would know about it. I'm just saying, because I have talked about it quite a lot, but I can recommend. It's a lovely book. I hope the series moves on well so that I'm not let down. Yes. This one is kind of random. So this is Sarah J. Maas' Catwoman Soulstealer. Large paperback format. I bought used. I just actually purchased the hardcover one and they sent me the paperback one. So they refunded me and said, we still have the hardcover one. If you want it, you can purchase it. And I did. So I got this for free. But now she's just taking up space in my office because I also have the hardcover one. There's nothing wrong with this edition. I just have the hardcover one. You know? So she's gonna go. I have not read the book. Not yet, but I'm planning on it. Because I love superheroes, I love Sarah J Maas, and we're gonna have a good time with it at some point, along with, what's it called? Wonder Woman Warbringer, I think it is. I don't have the Superman one, and I think the last one is Batman, but I could be wrong. I just feel like it would be quite obvious if it was Batman. But I have at least the Wonder Woman one. I'm kind of hoping to be able to get the other two used as well. And then we have a duology that might be a little bit of a surprise to some of you, but maybe also not. So we have Six Crimson Cranes, then The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. These are YA fantasy with romance in there, and let me just tell you. So when I read Six Crimson Cranes back when it came out, I loved it so much. Like, I was sucked in. It had like slight fairy tale vibes. I think it's also due to it being a retelling of a Jose Anderson story, or at least taking very heavy inspiration from one of his stories. It just had like a vibe. And these editions, I purchased Six Crimson Cranes in the US edition to start out with, but I loved the covers of these so much that I ended up purchasing these as well. Since then I've gotten rid of the US edition, so these are now the ones that I have. But then I read The Dragon's Promise and something just like, it was ruined for me. I am so sad still to this day. Can you hear that in the background? Those are students. They just finished school and they're celebrating that they finished school. It's been going on for weeks. Anyway. Or not weeks, but at least like a week. A princess in exile, a shape-shifting dragon, 6 enchanted cranes, and an unspeakable curse. It will take more than magic to find their way home. A dragon's kingdom, a star-crossed love, and a cursed pearl with the power to mend the world or break it. These covers are so beautiful as well. I've pretty much just held on to these because they look like art pieces. That's it. And now I have no space, so I'm like, okay, they gotta go. But they're gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful copies. And I'm kind of sad to see them go, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy The Dragon's Promise. I'm never gonna reread them. Love the Six Crimson Cranes though. So those were the large hardbacks, I think. Let's move on to some other used books that I also have, that I got other editions of. So we have The Raven Boys and The Dream Thieves, which is the first 2 books in the Raven cycle by Maggie Seafader, also YA fantasy. I've not read these. I have the Owlcrate editions and I'm perfectly fine reading those. And that's why these gotta go, because they're just taking up extra space. I don't need duplicates of this series, I don't feel. Am I gonna regret it if I turn out to really freaking love the series? Maybe, but right now I'm fine with them going. It's okay. There's something interesting about this one, and I don't really, there's a book plate in it and a bird. I don't really know. It's bought used, but she seems to be signed. It's kind of funny. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Also, because the book plate is like the signature continues outside of the book plate, so I'm like, it's not really a book plate. Is this what her signature looks like? Wait, I could check. Give me a moment. So it doesn't look like the same signature, but like, it might have changed throughout the years. That's not unusual. I have no idea. I don't even know if this is Maggie. Like, I don't know what's going on with this, but anyway, she's going anyway. It's the fun stuff when you get, like, when you buy used books. Sometimes you find receipts in them, for example. I don't know, it kind of has a charm to it. So we also have The Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I actually really liked this when I got it, but I just don't see myself, or when I read it, but I just don't see myself rereading it. So it's a YA fantasy with, is there a little bit of a romance? There's a romance in it. And enjoyable, but I just don't see myself rereading it, so she's gonna go too. Then we have an Owlcrate edition, which is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I'm not sure, I've been like very drawn to this book and then suddenly I wasn't anymore. Does that make sense? Like, I kind of lost interest in it. Interest in it. I just kind of lost it. So she's gonna go. It has an exclusive cover though. The original is like more gray. It also has silver or gilded edges. Gold gilded edges. It has end pages, art on the naked cover, and also inside dust jacket art as well. It's not read. I probably won't read it, and hopefully it can find a new home somewhere. And then also Jadefire Gold by C.L. Tan. This is one of those books that I pulled off of the shelves while they were wrapped up, and it just hit me that I really don't want to read it. Like, I don't know. I think this was also written to, it was supposed to have been a series, and then it turned into not being a series. So like I don't know if the ending is a bit open, if you get what I mean, like it could continue, or if it's wrapped up, because I've heard people say both, but everyone's kind of acknowledging that it was supposed to be a series and then it was just kind of like scrapped. So this hasn't been read though, and I'm not going to read it. I think it's just YA fantasy. I don't know if there's a romance plot in there, but I'm probably not going to read it, so I'm gonna let her go. And then these two, I just realized that YA contemporary is not me anymore. So Aristotle and Dante's book 1 and 2. I actually gave book 1 5 stars, but I just don't see myself rereading it. YA contemporary romance, by the way. Heavy on the contemporary. I would say the romance, well, it's hard to explain. The romance is also a big part of it, but I don't know if I feel like calling them romance because there's so much other stuff going on. At least in the first one. Have not read the sequel. Don't really feel like I want to read it. So I just don't read a lot of like YA contemporary these days, and I don't feel like I'm gonna read it in the coming years. And so she's gonna, or they're gonna go. I'm sure they'll find a loving home. Book 1 is like hugely popular as well, so. We have Midnight Strikes by Ziba Shanaz. This is an Alcrate exclusive. It's a naked cover and with some gold, some gilded edges. End pages as well have foil on them. And I don't know, I'm just not drawn to this book. I didn't even know that it was a book that existed when I got it in an Alcrate box. And I just haven't really grown interested in it since. So she's gonna go. I think it's YA fantasy, possibly with some romance. Our fates are sealed whether we know it or not. It sounds like there might be a romance, but I can't actually, there's no like plots or summary, so I can't tell you, but I think that's the direction the book is heading in, so. And then the last Alcrate exclusive is Blood Sign. I have the Fairy Loot exclusive of this, so I just don't feel like having 2 editions of it on my shelves. This is one that I'm actually super excited to read at some point. Just haven't gotten to it. You know how it is when you have a lot of books. And so this one is gonna go, but still a book that I'm very, very excited for. This, I believe, has an exclusive cover, but it's hard to tell what's exclusive about it. I think it might be the font, or not the font, but like the color of the text. Also orange edges, very, very orange. And I believe that's actually about it, which is kind of funny. Other than it's signed. There's a bookplate in it. I am a descendant of Shango, the god of heat and fire. I am a living inferno. I am a dead girl walking. Something about child soldiers as well in this book. I think it's based off of something in history, but I can't remember what it is. I'm very excited to be reading this at some point though, just want to say. I just don't feel like I need 2 editions. Not with the lack of space that's going on in my office right now. We gotta be a little bit more picky. You know, a little bit more picky. And then lastly, with the hardbacks, we have Hunted by Megan Spooner, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's YA fantasy romance. Read this with the book club, like, it was one of the first books we read together. Really, really enjoyed it. Definitely heavy on the fantasy vibes, or fairy tale vibes, but I just don't see myself rereading it. I'm gonna get rid of the tabs, just want to say. But it's a lovely, lovely book. The writing is nice as well. It's very comfortable. I don't know, I feel like it's the best way I can describe it. So I just don't see myself rereading it, and that's why I'm letting it go. But lovely book though. Then we have one Afterlife, which is Make You Mine This Christmas by Lissy Huxley Jones, which I have read not last Christmas, but the Christmas before, I think. And I don't know, I feel like I can't remember exactly what it was that I didn't enjoy about it, but there was something I didn't. And so I just don't see myself rereading it, and so she's gonna go. But exclusive cover, red sprayed edges, very Christmassy. Very, very Christmassy. Also signed, by the way. Can't remember if this was before they started doing, oh, there's a little bit of foil on it. They've definitely like turned up the Afterlife customizations since this book. It was one of the first, it was during the first year, I think. So we have some foil on the naked cover. It's a very cute edition. It kind of hurts to let go of Afterlife editions as well, I'm not gonna lie. Because they don't take up a lot of space, but I just don't see myself rereading it, so yeah. Oh, this is like fake dating goes wrong, because she's fake dating the romantic leads, or like the love interest's brother, and so it gets a little bit messy. It's very charming that way, but there are just certain things about the story that I didn't like. I just can't remember what it is. It's been a while since I read it. We have we have 4 paperbacks. So I have Hyde, which is I think it's a new adult fantasy romance, romantasy. I'm not really sure though. It's been a while since I bought this. We're talking like years and years and years ago. When is it from? Maybe that'll give me an indicator of when I purchased this. Copyright 2012. I think I purchased this in 2016. Still not read it. Don't really know what it's about. And so I have no desire to pick it up, to be honest. It's just gonna go. An urban fantasy. Right. Oh, it's intended for adults only. Stevenson's Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and... Oh, well, it's fine. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde inspiration, obviously. But have not read it, probably won't read it, so we're gonna say goodbye to it. And then I have one that, after I heard negative things about the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, I've just not really felt like picking this up. I was so excited for this to start out with, and then I started hearing people reading who had read the sequel. And they were saying not so good things about it, and then I turned into, or I moved over in the like, well, if the sequel's bad, I don't want to get so invested in the first one. So I'm probably not gonna read it. But also fantasy, YA fantasy. And then we have some duplicates that are just Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness. These are the 2nd and the 3rd book in the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare, Shadowhunters. I have the hardcovers. Actually, those are bought partially used. A lot of my Shadowhunters hardcovers are. Which I like. I miss buying used books. Why did I stop doing that? I should start doing that again. Anyway, I just have the hardcovers because I started out buying the paperbacks and then I was like, you know what? I like having Shadowhunter books as hardcovers, so I'm gonna get those instead. Now I have new paperbacks and then used hardcovers, but I'd rather keep the hardcovers. These are unread, completely like, they've only been in my office. There's nothing, yeah. They're new, unused, and I just will not read them because I'll read the hardcovers, so I don't need to have duplicates of them. And they're gonna go. I can't even tell you if I like these because I've only read Lady Midnight, which is the first one. But in general, I like Shadowhunter books and I should really continue that series. They're right over here, which is why I'm looking over there. I should really continue that series. How have I not continued it? The first one ends on a cliffhanger. Like, that's so rude of me. Why have I not done that? Anyway, so that is the book unhaul for this time. There'll probably be more, maybe another one this year. I'm not really sure, but at this rate, I have no more space left on my shelves except like a little. I can like squeeze in a book here and there if I really want to, but it's pretty much filled up, and so there'll probably be more, you know, book unhauls, maybe one more this year or something like that. If you have any interest in any of the books and you have access to Danish Vinted, feel free to take a look. Again, the link to it is in the description box down below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this book unhaul. I am not really very like super negative about any of the books per se, because how can I be super negative about a book I haven't read? And I still want to like stay respectful when it comes to the ones that I have read that I didn't like. So, because it just means they weren't for me. So we're not like super mean towards the books or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's very high value entertainment, tearing books apart. But I don't know. I'm just not there at the moment. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unhaul. Anyway, if you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also all the other booktube stuff, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. However, I'm gonna leave you to it now. So I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!